today we're going to talk about 5 ways to make your offers to sellers way better. What's up guys, it's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action on Instagram, and yes, I'm a full-time real estate investor. I actually teach what I do. Now, whenever you're here on the This Is Me Taking YouTube channel, we're talking about business, finance, and how to make as much money as possible during a 30-day period of time while you cherry pick the very best deals. This right here is my 8-unit building that we're in right now. This unit we're actually setting up as a short-term rental, okay, and I'm allowing someone to come in and arbitrage the unit for me so that way I can have a lease to get guaranteed monthly payments in order to qualify for my DSCR loan. Now look, what can make your offer better? Okay, what can make your offer better? Like almost irresistible. How can you make an irresistible offer to motivated sellers so they cannot say no to you? I want to make sure that you know when to present your offer. Okay, when you actually call the seller, you should expect that you're gonna have to talk to the seller. Let's call it 7 touches. Let's call it 7 touches, really. That first conversation more than likely is not gonna go down on that first conversation. So just know that you need to get the condition of the property while building a lot of rapport with the seller. So talking about their family, hobbies that they like to do, and finding commonalities in between you all, figuring out why they want to sell their property, okay? And then actually going deep into that why and pressing in on the pain. So that way you can get the real timeline. So how soon they need to close, and then being able to pull out a realistic price. Let's get into what is going to make your offer irresistible. Okay, now the first thing that you're going to do to have an irresistible offer is to have 3 different strategies to help the seller sell their house. Like I said, cash, seller financing subject to passing along to a realtor. At that point, when you have so many options, it's not yes or no, will I go with you or not? It's like, oh, okay, I can sell you my house cash. I can sell you my house with a down payment and taking payments over time, or I can sell you my house by leaving the mortgage in place, or I can sell you my house by using your realtor. Which one should I choose? Puts them in a yes category versus putting them 50-50 yes or no. Now, in your offer, you need to make sure that you have an exact price. When you have the number 500, so 500, you will get less acceptances or less purchases or less agreements than if you were to do $497, $3 off. But it's more of an exact number. People like exact because it's like, oh, this is a calculation. This is how he came up with it. This is a serious offer. But when you make an offer that says, you know, 50,000 with 4 zeros, that's not as attractive as I can do $48,987. That sounds like, oh man, this is it. This is what he can actually do. This is a real exact number. So be sure to not make it so even, okay? Also in your negotiation, be sure not to do big jumps. So if you tell the seller that you can do $50,000 for the property, don't go up to $60,000. That's too big of a jump. You can't jump from $50,000 to $75. You can't jump from $50,000 to $60. Even if you guys are that far away, you have to increase your offer a little bit at a time. Is you need to put an exact closing date. The benefit of using a real estate investor over a realtor is that we give an exact price and an exact time. Realtors come in and they say, hey, I believe we can get this amount. I believe average days on market is maybe 45 days on market. You know, banks typically close in 60 days. They don't know for sure. So for an investor, we need to give an exact date. I typically put 30 days on every contract. Now, when you tell the seller 30 days, you know, that gives you enough time to do your due diligence to find, depending on what your exit strategy is, to find a buyer, find a tenant buyer, find private money, you know, or your hard money, whatever you need to do. But that gives you enough time to actually close. And when you give them the specific date, they have like a pressure release because they know when this pain is gonna stop. So be sure that you have a specific date. Also, when you tell the seller, hey, I'm okay with buying your property as is, okay? That's good, but as is doesn't really do it, okay? Why is buying the house as is important to the seller? That's really what you have to explain before you put that in your contract. Because if you just throw it in there like it doesn't have any significance, then it won't be significant to the seller. You know, Mr. Seller, I know you were telling me that, you know, you fixed up the property a little bit, but you didn't have enough money to finish fixing up the heat. That won't be a problem. Typically, I'm buying property as is. So essentially, if you were to sell to someone else who's using an FHA loan or conventional loan, the first thing they do is an inspection, and they require to have heat. Like, that's a code violation for most cities, is that each house has heat. But a part of my offer is I'll put in a contingency that says that I'll buy the property as is. So you don't have to worry about me not closing because your property doesn't have heat. But if you just throw in as is, hey, I'll buy your property as is, it doesn't hold any weight. You like jumped over it so quick, it wasn't even really a negotiating factor. So first is having an exact price. Second is having an exact time. Third is actually having no contingencies, but before you let them know that, actually explain why no contingencies, or buying it as is, okay, why the benefit of it is, because the feature is no contingencies, but what's the benefit to the seller of no contingencies? Now, next is you paying for the closing cost. This is not a negotiation factor until they know that in a traditional sale, sellers, so a traditional sale is, hey, great, they want to sell your house, they find a realtor, they sign a listing agreement, and inside of that listing agreement says that the seller's proceeds, okay, are minus the realtor's commissions and minus the closing fees. The seller pays for the state transfer tax. The seller pays for the closing costs for the attorney. So you paying for the closing costs is a benefit, because what you agree on is what the seller gets. Huge benefit, but they don't know how big that is, once again, if you don't explain it. The last thing that you need to do is to make sure that your offer is written. Most important. You didn't actually make an offer if you didn't write all of your terms down, the seller's name, the address of the property, how much the purchase price you can buy it for, that's exact, the time, no contingencies, and you sent the purchase agreement to the seller. It's not a real offer until you send it. People don't take things seriously by word of mouth. Let me help you understand. There's a credit card company that wants your business, so what they do is they send you a piece of mail. Both of the credit card companies do the same thing. The first credit card company sends you a letter in the mail that says, hey, you're pre-approved for this credit card. Give us a call, we'll tell you your exact limit that you have, and then we'll send you a card in the mail 3 weeks after. The second credit card company, they send you a letter in the mail, but attached to it is the card stuck to it with your name on it, a card number, and an expiration date. When you open up the letter, it says, text to activate your pre-approved card. You let me know in the comments which credit card option are you more likely to choose. And at the end of the day, I think we all know that having the actual card and being able to text to activate, we're gonna more likely choose that one, especially if we're motivated to need money, if we're motivated financially. Okay, and so you sending the seller a purchase agreement via DocuSign to their email, and all they have to do is click to sign the purchase agreement. You get a finalized copy, they get a finalized copy, and your attorney gets a copy. That is way more sensational. That actually says, hey, we're moving forward to do business. That makes it easy to go under contract. That makes it, less painful for the seller. That's less that they have to do. I find that if you actually use these things, right, present 3 offers, make sure your offer is concrete and written, then you'll get more deals on the contract. For more real estate investing advice, watch this video that I made for you right here.